Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the Rahu's sign lord placement in different houses. So guys, I recently uploaded this video on Moon and Ketu conjunction and what if you will find the dispositor in different houses. So over there only and individually through mail and through DMs as well, I received a lot of query about talking about Rahu's sign lords placement in different houses as well, because guys, on this channel I have talked about Rahu's placement in different houses, Rahu's placement Rahu to be in different zodiac sign as well. We have already talked about all of that. But definitely guys, when it comes down to Rahu and Ketu, their dispositor actually plays a very important role, because at the end of the day, they are the imaginary points which hold this power to even subjugate the strongest of the luminaries, even sun and moon as well. So yes guys, before we will start our discussion on getting into the deeper side of understanding Rahu's sign dispositor, let's first try to understand a little bit about the Rahu. So guys, as you know that Rahu and Ketu or the nodal axis plays a very important role. I always say this thing, that if you want to understand the latent potential or the wisdom acquired by soul from the past lifetimes or anything to do with the emotional psychological turmoil, the axis of Rahu and Ketu can actually give you a lot of information. Specifically guys, when we talk about Rahu and Ketu, so Ketu is a more liberating and spiritual energy, but when it comes down to the end of Rahu is chiefly responsible for your ambition, for your desires, for your growth and doing something which is extraordinary, exceptional. Like the way guys, I always say this thing, when it comes down to Mercury, I describe Mercury as intelligent, but when it comes down to Rahu, we call it genius. And just because guys, because Rahu and Ketu are always in retrograde motion, so that is the only reason that Rahu is the typical outlaw which want to challenge the status quo and which actually wants to do something very unique in the world. Now guys, if you want to understand that in the chart, what role the axis of Rahu Ketu plays, what role does the zodiac sign of Rahu and Ketu plays, or what about the nakshatra of Rahu and Ketu. So guys, that's very simple. Rahu's placement in the chart, in whichsoever house it is going to be placed in, that will tell about your present desires. From Ketu's end, it will tell more about the wisdom acquired from the past lifetimes, the knowledge which is encrypted with the soul, which has been transmitted in this lifetime as well, which might be lying latent if you will not use it. Now when it comes down to the zodiac sign, that tells about the strength and weakness of the nodal axis. So the house just tells about that in which area your present desires will battle with the wisdom acquired by the soul from the past. The zodiac sign will tell about the strength and weakness, and when we narrow it down, taper it down to the nakshatra, then we get the finer, deeper intricacies. Then we get to know about the lesson, the soul lessons. That is the only reason guys, whenever it comes down to appeasing any of your affliction to the planets, we generally do the ritual which is connected with the devata or the god which is connected with that nakshatra. That becomes very important. So now guys, coming back to the topic, that the role of Rahu's dispositor. So like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that Rahu is very much important for your growth in this lifetime, for ambition. Whenever it comes down to fame guys, I want to make it very clear, understand the definition of fame which comes from Rahu. Sun is definitely responsible for giving you the limelight, which might be or which could have a lasting energy as well. Same way guys, when we talk about Jupiter, you could be known for your wisdom. If Saturn is hard bent on giving you fame, so you will control the masses, people will love you, you will be the mass favorite. Now guys, when we talk about Rahu, understand this thing, Rahu is like a illusion which can create a hype around you. I always say this thing, that for someone to succeed in order to get famous from Rahu, other factors in the chart should be supporting that as well. Otherwise, you might be among those people who suddenly go viral for a day and then afterwards no one cares for them. Because the thing is, the minute you will go viral, everyone will be typing about you, everyone will be searching for you, but if there is no substance, then you will not be able to encash on that opportunity or that hype which suddenly got created around you. But yes guys, in today's modern day age of social media, electronics media, so Rahu plays a very important role. Like overnight, it can, with a flash of light, it can make someone suddenly very popular. So yes guys, and like the way I was talking more about that, when it comes down to Rahu and Ketu, Ketu is not as much responsible for perverting someone's character or someone's personality, someone's thought process, someone's character. But if Rahu energy is not operating on a higher domain, Rahu is the chief responsible for bad company, unethical acts, negative thoughts, the kind of thoughts which comes to your mind. Like the way guys, the famous quote from the Lal Kitab is that Rahu and Ketu act as the agent of the planet Saturn. So like the way Saturn is a judge. So when Saturn is sitting there or deliver the justice or deliver the judgment on someone, so Rahu and Ketu act as a lawyers. So Rahu is going to be reminding the judge about the misdeeds which the accused has done, and Ketu will be asking for leniency. Ketu will be reminding about the good deeds which the person has done who is in the witness box. So that is how the energy of Rahu and Ketu function. Now coming back to our topic. So yes guys, like I was talking about that, the sign lord of Rahu becomes very important because all these exceptional talents which we have just discussed, all that humongous fame potential, innovation which we have discussed, specifically when it comes down to the Rahu and Ketu, their sign lord holds a very strong say. Like let's say for example, if you have to like give results for a Jupiter which is well placed in the chart, so there are so many ways via which you will land at a conclusion. You will see that the role which Jupiter plays for that Lagna, that is the first most important thing. Second thing is that which all houses Jupiter is ruling, in which sign it is placed. Like for the Sagittarius Lagna, Jupiter being in the 8th house but exalted can still give very good results. So it all comes down to that. But when it comes down to, so what I was saying over there is that for planets other than Rahu and Ketu, just looking at their individual placement on that parameter, you can still say that is this planet in a strengthened state to give you results or not. But when it comes down to the 8th house or Rahu and Ketu, it is always a nemesis for the astrologers to predict or judge that in which dignity, in which domain that planet is going to be giving results. And trust me on this thing, it hardly matters whether Rahu is placed in the Taurus, Rahu is placed in the Gemini, Rahu is placed in Virgo, unless and until you are not involving your assessment that where the sign lord is placed, you might not be able to land at a precise prediction, specifically when it comes down to Rahu and Ketu. So yes guys, like the way I was talking about, for Rahu to be giving you this information, that in which like the way we can look at it in this way, that your futuristic desires and your ambitions, in order for Rahu to achieve that, which house is going to be chiefly providing it the impetus or providing it the support? Because definitely guys, the results will only manifest or come out of the house where the planet is placed. But just because for Rahu, its sign lord is so important that Rahu will be attracting the energy or sucking out the signification of that house as well, where the sign lord is going to be placed, specifically for Rahu and Ketu's case. So now guys, let's say for example, let's take a random example. And before that, you have to also understand this thing that the best case is, the win-win scenario is that if you will find Rahu and Ketu to be placed on their own, not being conjunct with other planet. Because guys, when it comes down to a planet like Rahu, so generally what happens is that if Rahu is conjunct with malefic planet, Here I'm talking about natural malefic. So if Rahu is conjunct with Sun, Rahu is conjunct with Mars, Rahu is conjunct with Saturn, so Rahu become more malefic. And if Rahu is conjunct with a like a naturally benefic planet, like Rahu is conjunct with Venus, it is conjunct with Mercury, it is conjunct with Moon, so it is going to be kind of distorting the natural good signification of other planet as well. So the best win-win scenario is that if you will find Rahu to be solely placed in a house, or in other ways, if Rahu is also placed with a planet which is placed in its own sign of exaltation, in a Mool Trikona sign, then we can say that Rahu is in a strong dignity. And nothing could be worse than that, guys, if you will find that Rahu to be conjunct with a planet which is already debilitated, which is already agitated in a sign. So like, let's say for example, Rahu and Mercury are conjunct in the Scorpio sign, in the Cancer sign, then this is a cautionary alignment, because the other planet is already afflicted and Rahu is going to be perverting the rest of the good traits of that planet as well. So okay guys, now coming back to the discussion, now let's say for example, if you will find Rahu to be placed in the either in the first house with the first house lord, or in whichever house Rahu is placed, but the sign lord of it is placed in the first house. So guys, this just tells about that somehow your futuristic desires will impact your whole life. Now this is also a very good combination for someone to be doing very good in a very cosmopolitan environment, or working in a field where there is a lot of innovation, there is a lot of the use of mass media, public speaking, public dealing is involved. But overall guys, this can be said with complete confidence that for a heightened sense of confidence, very strong ambition and fulfillment of desires, this could be a very good placement for the dispositor of Rahu to be placed in the first house, because somehow the roots of Rahu will be connected with the first house. Now guys, let's say for example, if we will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the second house. So guys, as you know that second house which tells about our tradition, which tells about our values. Now that's a different case, that Rahu in itself is not kind of placed over here, but the sign lord is placed over there. So let's say for example, whenever the Rahu Dasha will get active, you will definitely find that native will kind of try to go against the tradition, or depending on the placement of Rahu in the chart, or which planet is the sign lord, in which dignity it is placed in the second house, for like thinking about out of the ordinary, out of the box ways of making money, or like speculating a huge amount or sum of money to change your fortune, is generally seen if you will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the second house. Now guys, let's say for example, if you will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the third house. So guys, this is generally considered as a very good placement, because like the way you know this thing, that Rahu is very much connected with the desires, with our futuristic vision, and third house in a way has got lot to do when we talk about with your diligent efforts, how you can transform your life, your vision, your skills, your prowess. So this is a kind of a typical combination, specifically when we talk about your mental faculties. So native could be a genius in his chosen field, or in whichever sphere native is going to be operating, he will try to do things in a out of the ordinary fashion. So all those people who are they are the first comer in any industry, we can see with this kind of placement if Rahu energy is operating on a higher domain. And also guys, definitely this will be more paramount, more visible when the Rahu Dasha will get active. Now guys, let's say for example, if we will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the fourth house. So guys, like the way I mentioned this thing, that all of the idiosyncrasies of Rahu, in whichever capacity, in whichever sign Rahu is placed, in whichever house it is placed, just because the sign lord has gone to the fourth house, the idiosyncrasies of Rahu will somehow impact or influence the attributes of the fourth house as well. So guys, in lot many ways it has been seen that when it comes down to whether Rahu is placed in the 4th house or any of the malefic presence in the 4th house, generally takes the native away from his birthplace. And also guys, that's a win-win situation. But now let's say for example, if you will find that Rahu is somehow influencing the natal moon as well, like Rahu is conjunct with moon, or Rahu is placed in the Cancer and the sign lord, which becomes like moon in itself, you will find that if Rahu is placed in Cancer but the moon is placed in the 4th house, so that in itself will make lot of emotional anxiety, uncertainties, fickleness, not being able to stay firm in your decision. So yes guys, when we talk about the material side of it, for doing something good on a public domain or having your residence or settlement away from your birthplace can get promised. But on an emotional mental plane, whenever Rahu Dasha will get active, or this planet who is sitting over here, that planet will get active in the Dasha, in the Antardasha or in the transit, this can create lot of emotional, inner emotional mental turmoil. Now guys, let's say for example, if we will find Rahu's sign lord to be placed in the 5th house of your natal chart. So guys, the good part about this placement is that, as you know, that Rahu has got a lot to do with our futuristic desires. Now that is a different case, that because this is the house which originally belongs to the planet Sun, and like the way we say this thing, that Rahu is more bitter towards Sun and Ketu is more bitter towards Moon. So but the thing over here is that if you will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in a dignified state, and whenever Rahu Dasha will get active, native will be able to materialize or somehow access his past life talents as well. And definitely guys, because 5th house also tells about the way your mind function. So being a innovator in your chosen field and capacity to experience sudden reversal or windfall of gain in the matters of your financial investments and all, or in the areas of speculation, can be foreseen if you will find in any way the sign lord of Rahu making any combination with the 5th house of the natal chart. Now guys, let's say for example, if you will find the sign lord of Rahu to be making any connection with the 6th house or being placed in the 6th house, so definitely guys, this is a very good combination, specifically where you have to be in a field where there's a lot of combativeness is involved, and you have to be a step ahead with your mental faculties, with your intelligence, with your vision, with your planning. So specifically guys, all those in today's day and age, when we talk about artificial intelligence or all those people or professions which involves combative like fields, like this could be army, this could be air force, this could be military, and generally the armory side, like specifically the weaponry side. So over there this combination generally can manifest some very good results. Like let's say for example, if you will find that in any way, like for example, Rahu is placed in the 1st house for a Scorpio Lagna, and the lord of the 1st house, which becomes Mars, it is placed in the 6th house. This is a very potent combination, and trust me, I've seen this combination in people who are in these fields. So Rahu in any case in the 1st house becomes very strong, and the sign lord, which becomes Mars, which is another malefic very competitive planet, and that has also gone to the 6th house being in its own sign. So these are certain combinations which actually point your desires, your ambition, your destiny in one specific direction. And guys, that is how we do the astrology decoding and assessment. Whenever you will find multiple channels indicating or pointing out in one specific direction, so the possibility of that event or that assessment coming true or getting verified becomes very strong. Now guys, let's say for example, if we will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the 7th house. So guys, this can be seen as a good combination specifically for the public domain, and specifically guys, when we talk about commercial activities, and like if I were to pick one of my favorite nakshatra when it comes down to becoming millionaire or in the chart of the wealthiest people of the world. So more than the Dhanishta, I would say Swati in today's day and age has got a lot of potential. And as you can see that even the Swati energy somehow falls in the original Kalpurush Kundli's 7th house only. So yes guys, if you will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the 7th house, and Rahu energy individually is operating strongly on a mental plane, like Rahu is placed in the 3rd house, 6th house, like 10th house, 11th house, and Rahu is placed in some favorable sign of the Mercury sign, and Mercury in itself is placed then in the 7th house. So these are certain combinations which can actually give you very good commercial success. And the way things will work over here is that guys, you will not only look at the chart from this perspective that okay, the sign lord is placed in the 7th house, but how come that planet is working out in a very out of the box way, doing something very exceptional, unusual, which the world has not seen before. Like you have your own business, but you want to do something which other people have not seen before, your clientele or your competitors have not done before, something like that. So this is the kind of approach and mindset you will find, that somehow Rahu energy will also be getting flavorized in the house where its sign lord is placed over there. Now guys, when we talk about 8th house, so again guys, I want to be very honest, specifically 8th house has got its own league of gifts to offer, but when it comes down to peace, when it comes down to having a calmness of the mind, over there 8th house is the biggest threat. And this is a kind of a typical combination, like let's say for example, if Rahu individually is placed in the other than the 8th house, if it is placed in the 4th house, in the 12th house, or in the water sign, like for example in the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and the lord of that sign is also placed in the 8th house, then this is a typical combination of too much of the emotional mental anguish. And depending on the overall planetary alignments, this can also indicate or send native towards the path of self-destruction, very clandestine, secretive activities. Again guys, everything has got a pros and cons attached to it. Now native could join some covert field or operations, those kind of departments, those kind of field. Native can also become a very good tantric. So there is a lot of things which are attached to it. But yes guys, when it comes down to having a peace of mind, over there this placement can actually create lot of hurdles. But again guys, because whether we talk about Rahu, whether we talk about 8th house, it has got a lot to do with the your in-laws. So in lot many cases for native's success, his in-laws might also play a very pivotal role. Now guys, if you will find that the sign lord of Rahu is placed in the 9th house, so guys, in lot many cases it has been seen that somehow native's destiny or his desires, his goals will take him to the foreign land, or native will gain, or a lot of foreign exposure will work out in native's favor. Also guys, in today's modern day and age, as you can see all the time that people are more interested in getting their even diksha or even any of the spiritual teachings and all. People are more driven towards the new modern day kind of gurus. So this can also drive someone towards very new age kind of teaching, new age kind of guidance. So regarding that front, this is a good alignment, this is a good combination. Now guys, let's say for example, if we will find Rahu's sign lord to be placed in the 10th house. So guys, it's a very good combination. The good part is that Rahu will make someone very focused and driven towards the goals. It can also make someone very competitive as well. Like guys, nothing would be better than that. Now let's say for example, if in a Aries Lagna, Rahu is placed in the 1st house, but the lord of the 1st house, which is the planet Mars, it is placed in the 10th house, then definitely guys, from the 10th house, you will not only find the results of a exalted Mars over there, but that will also carry the energy of a strong Rahu placed in the 1st house as well. And trust me guys, when the Rahu Dasha will get active, you will definitely see that not only native's ambition, his public image, his persona, his capacity and desires to do something extraordinary will increase, but that will reflect in his professional graph as well, professional success as well. So yes guys, any of the combination of the Rahu sign lord with the 10th house is a good indication of professional success. Now guys, let's say for example, if you will find the sign lord of Rahu to be placed in the 11th house. So guys, it's a good combination, because as you know that whether we talk about Rahu's placement or Rahu's sign lord, 11th house has got a lot of the material desires to fulfill. So if we will find that no matter in whichever house Rahu is placed, but if the sign lord is or has gone to the 11th house, so for a heightened sense of ambition, fulfillment of desires, multiple channel of income, and a very insatiable appetite to fulfill your goals, this is a very conducive, favorable placement for that. And lastly guys, let's say for example, if we will find Rahu's sign lord has gone to the 12th house. So guys, as you know that 12th house chiefly tells about the far away lands. So, and 12th house also tells about something which is hidden from us. So guys, specifically I have seen this placement in lot of the charts of people who are the professional certified Kundalini trainers, who are the, like, they organize lot many spiritual retreats and all, who are the therapists and all. So this could be a very conducive placement for that. And also guys, when we talk about anything to do with the astronomy, celestial world, or the cosmos, so all the astrophysicists, astronomers, astrologers, tantrics, and all the sci-fi writers as well, you will definitely find this is a very good placement for succeeding or doing something in the domain of out of the body experiences or the other dimensions. So native can do very good as an author, as a creator in these fields. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For furthermore updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.